Before I start with the quiz, I do want to make a quick announcement because today's Monday, the week before, Monday before your exam, but Monday, which means that this is now the second week that we have completed POGILs, which also means that there's still certain of you, some of you that are not completing those surveys. So the first week I was lenient, you know, and I said, that's fine, no worries. It's the first week, you guys are getting used to it. Last week, I mentioned it and mentioned it and mentioned it. I even sent, yeah, I forgot to talk about it, but I shouldn't have to talk about it. At the end of every week, and you don't have to wait till Friday. If our last POGIL's on Wednesday, then you do the survey on Wednesday. But anyway, when we're done with our POGILs for that week, you need to do your survey on Friday before 7 o'clock. So last week, for those of you that did not do it, I gave you a 0 for one of the POGILs. Let me let that sink in for a second. Okay, so your POGILs are worth 10 points, and you guys told me that you wanted me to grade you mostly on participation, but yet you can't take 3 minutes out of your day to do a freaking survey. So if that's the case, I'm gonna give you a 0, and that's what I did. I gave you a 0, not for all of them, but I gave you a 0 for one of them. So even though you did it, you did all that work, you get a full fat 0 because you didn't do the survey. From now on, and for those of you that don't listen to me, listen. From now on, if you do not do your surveys, that 3-minute survey, you will get a 0 for all of the POGILs that week. So if we do 5 POGILs, you get 50 points off of your score. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I hope it is very crystal clear, because I am done, you know, screaming at you guys and telling you guys to do stuff. There's still people that don't do the quick tutorials. So, you know, there's nothing else. If you guys don't want to, you know, do what you're supposed to do, you're going to suffer. And another thing is your exam is made, right? So it's about, I think it's going to be like 9 questions. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's 9 questions with 3 bonuses. And you guys really do need to study, like really do actually study, because it's going to be, it's easy. I think it's easy, but it's going to be hard if you don't do everything that I've been telling you to do. All these quick tutorials, all these whatevers, all these things help you. All these readings, all these stuff that we, you know, all this stuff that we do, if you do it all together, it should really help you. But that's it. I think that's it for right now. I do have, I do have one other announcement, but I'm going to wait. I want to get this started. So first iClicker quiz to actually ask you for an answer. You have 45 seconds, around 50 seconds I'm going to give you. So I'm going to share the screen. There's a bunch of chats going on, but I don't think it has anything to do with me because it's asking for numbers and stuff. So I'm just going to share the screen, and don't chat, obviously, while the quiz is on, guys. You guys ready? Yeah? Good. That is not your quiz. There it is. That's your quiz. Okay, so really simple. Calculate the answer to the appropriate number of significant figures. So I just want you to give me, what answer would you provide for that calculation? That's it. That's all I want. You have 45 seconds. I'm sort of sick of you guys not doing what you're supposed to do as far as your groups, okay? And I don't know anybody specifically in this class, but I had section 1 today, and there's still people, like, I'm not stupid, you know that, right, guys? Like, I can tell a good group from a bad group. I can tell. So I've decided that I am going to give bonus points to the best, most efficient, most communicative, most engaging group out of the class. And I don't know how often, but I will give you bonus points, maybe once a week. So besides all the other bonus points that you can get bonus points for this too. Because me traveling around the groups and you not, I can tell immediately who takes over, who doesn't say a word, right? Like, that doesn't work. It does not work. If you're going to do that, then I would really urge you not to come to class, because you're not benefiting from how this class is supposed to be done. Okay, so I just want to point that out to you. You really need to take, you know, like, what's the word? You need to really invest in this whole group thing. You can't just be like, oh, she's crazy and we'll just, no, it works. It really does work. There's lots of research. I've told you that already. So you really do need to invest in it and actually do it. Because if you don't, you're gonna hurt yourself more than you think you are. You think it might be stupid, but it's not stupid, because I can guarantee you that you need the help. So why not use your group to help you? Anyway. Today we're doing the Ionic POGIL, which you knew, and this should be really easy because we've talked about it. I'm still sharing my screen. Yes, we've talked about it already. You've seen the quick tutorial, so on and so forth. So this is really just going over what we've done already. So I want you to do, my computer's stuck. Okay, so I want you to do up to page 4, right? So up to this 14 right here. That's what I want you to do. So that's a lot of work, but it should be really easy because you should know how to do this. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
No, you guys seem really quiet. Nobody has any questions whatsoever. Okay. Well, I'm going to send you off into your group. Sorry, I didn't do this before. Genesis is not here. Nakia. There you go. Sorry. All right, so here we go. Andrew, where are you? Andrew, you're on 3. Camille, you're on 2. Christian, you're on 4. Evan, you're on 4. Jayla, you're on 2. Kennedy, you're on 3. Kezia, you're on, where are you, Kezia? Kezia, you're on 2. Malaki, you're on 3. And Terry, where are you? You're on 3. All right, here we go. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So you guys make sure that you finish up to number 14 before you turn it in today. On Wednesday, we will be talking, well, actually, we will be doing another POGIL, which is going to cover molecular compounds. So we start with ionic compounds because hopefully you see that they're really easy. And Wednesday we're doing molecular compounds, and we're not going to do molecular compounds the whole time. Okay, we're going to do them. I'm going to stop you like midway, and then we're going to switch over to polyatomics. Polyatomic ions you need to know, and then hopefully we can concentrate a little bit more on Thursday for more polyatomic ions. You just need to practice. I mean, there's really nothing else that I need to teach you besides you memorizing those polyatomics and practicing the naming with all of them. And hopefully we will have time to also go over acids, hydrates, and transition metals. So if you notice, I mean, that is a lot of naming that you guys really need to get down. And like I said, your exam is already made. So you really need to know these names. Do you have any questions? And now I'm going to share the screen just to get some answers from you guys. Do you have any questions? That's not it. On the POGIL? Hello.
Hello. This is due at 7, right?
Yes, it is due at 7. Does anybody have any questions, or is everyone gets this POGIL? It's super easy.
I had a question.
Piece of cake. Yes, Evan. What's up?
So for like 10 through 12, I asked my group, I was like, so what would happen if the net charge was 1? Does that mean it was a higher atomic ratio or like a lower one if it ended up being 1?
It wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, to be as blunt as possible, it would not be, the net charge would not be +1. Because the reason that ionic compounds come together is for what? What is the reason? What is the main reason? Anybody can answer.
To have 8 valence electrons.
Neutralize their charge.
To balance their charge, right? So it has to be a net charge of 0. That's the whole point, right? Like I'm gonna get to, if I'm a -2, I'm gonna try to get together with someone that's gonna neutralize me and get me happy, which is a 0, you know? So they're, I think you might be, maybe what you're referring to is, for example, polyatomic ions. Were you referring to that maybe? Because they have
I'm guessing so, because I was just wondering, because I wasn't really sure, like if a net charge could be higher, could be 1 or higher and not stay at 0, because I didn't know.
Okay, so theoretically you could have someone that comes together and doesn't fully neutralize their charge, but is that going to really be something that stays? You know, is it going to be stable and stay like that forever, or more, not even forever, for any amount of time? Probably not. Because for me to say as a chemist that no, there's no way it's going to come together, well, maybe someone out there is trying to synthesize that. But is that going to happen naturally? You know, the compounds in solution wanting to come together and staying together just because? No, it's not going to happen, because the only way they do that is if they, you know, they're happy. And the only way that I'm a -2 is happy is if I get someone that's a +2. Or, for example, when it's not a ratio of 1 to 1, because that would be a ratio of 1 to 1, right? If it's like aluminum oxide, I need a specific number of oxygens to make my 1 aluminum happy. So that specific ratio will always have to be met. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. It's a good question. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, so I guess that was one of the questions I wanted to go over, but hopefully you guys see that this stuff is really easy. I mean, it really, really is. As long as you know what ions these things make. And how do you know that? By looking at the periodic table. If you know that, then you should be able to make these compounds, the formulas, and be able to also name them. Naming them is simple. You don't have to put any prefixes. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow the prefixes start, because those are the molecular compounds. But ionic compounds, you don't have to say calcium dichloride, because again, they only come together one way. So it would be sort of dumb for someone to say, oh, calcium dichloride. They look at you like you're crazy. It only comes together if it's Ca and Cl2. So, you know, so the naming is really easy. The name of the metal always goes first, the name of the non-metal, the anion always goes later, and you drop the ending to IDE. There's specific ratios, that's what most of the POGIL was trying to get you to understand. There's specific ratios when specific elements come together, right? The ratio of aluminum to oxygen is not necessarily the same as the ratio of aluminum to chlorine. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did someone say no? Hello? Did someone say no? Okay, I can't hear. So I'm going to say it one more time. Depending on who it is, they will have specific ratios when they come together. So for example, aluminum oxide, you need 2 aluminums and 3 oxygens to make that thing 0. And it would not be the same if it was, and now I wanted to get an aluminum and a chlorine together. It would not be the same ratio of aluminum to chlorine. Like it wouldn't be a 2 to 3. It would be something else, because it's not oxygen. It's chlorine now. So can anybody tell me what the formula would be if I wanted to put an aluminum and a chlorine together?
It would be
Would it be AlCl2?
AlCl3.
What charge, and I'm not going to say who's right, but what charge does aluminum take when it becomes an ion?
+3.
Is it always positive
Yeah.
3? Is that something you have to guess about?
No.
No, it's not something you should guess. It's always positive 3. What charge does chlorine take when it becomes an ion?
-1.
Is that something you have to guess or not be sure about? Or is it something that you can always just look at the periodic table and see?
You can look at the periodic table and
Yes.
see.
So now if I wanted to put them together into a formula, what would it be? And someone said it, it would be AlCl3, not AlCl2. There is no charge of 2 for aluminum, so it would not be AlCl2. All I did is I crisscrossed it over. What would this be called?
Aluminum trichloride.
Aluminum chloride.
Aluminum
Aluminum
chloride.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I didn't mean to say it like that. Sorry.
Okay, aluminum chloride. Aluminum chloride, not aluminum tri for the same reason that I said before. You can only come together. So again, this ratio here is 1 to 3, right? Metal to non-metal. This ratio here is different, 2 to 3. So that was my point. It just because there's specific ratios when ions come together, because their goal is what they're trying to achieve is they're trying to achieve 0. Let me neutralize my charge. So
Dr. Tornay,
yes.
so all ionic compounds expressed in empirical formulas?
Yes, because it would be stupid. I mean, it's not wrong. Like, I don't think anybody would be super mad, but it would be dumb to say Al4O6 because that's not how it happens. Remember, I think Justin was mentioning in his group is that these things don't actually make bonds. These things are just electrically really attracted to each other. So what's attracted is this right here, is this lattice, which needs that many, to satisfy one aluminum, you're gonna need this many oxygens. That whole thing forms a lattice, but what's actually, quote unquote, bonding is the simplest empirical formula, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so it would be really weird. I don't think anybody would get mad, but they would kind of look at you side-eyed. Like, wait, what? Isn't it this? Isn't it Al2O3? Because that's what's really connecting there, quote unquote connecting, okay? That's different for molecular compounds. That's completely different from molecular compounds. And that is why you have to put those prefixes for molecular compounds, which we're gonna do tomorrow. Wednesday. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, because again, this is the easiest naming. It's the easiest one. I do want to go down here. So they showed you a chart, and you didn't have to fill in this chart. Didn't say anything about filling anything out. You just had to look at it. And then question 14 refers to the chart. So what patterns do you notice about the charges of the ions with respect to their positions in the periodic table? Can somebody in group 1 tell me? The presenter.
We had just got to this one when we went to the breakout groups.
Okay. So you didn't do it, is what you're saying?
No, we did not do this, but just looking at the chart, I would say that it's kind of mirroring each other-ish a little bit.
Okay. Be a little bit more specific about that. What do you mean, mirroring each other?
As in like the number of elements for each charge. So around the middle, there's one extra, but other than that, it's kind of mirrored in the.
I don't think that has, okay, so you're right, but I don't think that's what they're asking. They're
Okay.
more asking about like, okay, so the charges that they take, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are they, do you see a pattern with the charge, with the position that they're in the periodic table? Not how many are there mirrored.
Okay.
That's what they're asking. I mean, how about someone in group 2? Let's get someone else to see if they can get it.
So there's the way that you explained in your video, and then there's, so if you count all the way across from 1 to 18, the digit in the ones place, except for the transition metals, corresponds to the number of valence electrons. And so if you know the number of valence electrons, then you can predict what type of ion the element will produce. So the simpler way to say is that if you know the family that it's in, you can predict, except for the transition metals, what type of ion it will make.
That's right. Did anybody not get that? Does anybody need that's perfect. That's exactly right. So does anybody not get what Justin said? Oh Lord.
No.
No means you don't get it?
No, I get it. I get it.
Oh, okay. So it's that's why these things, again, you know, it's 4:30, but that's why these things are so freaking easy, because all you really have to do is look at the periodic table to know all of these things. You don't have to memorize them. It's just you use the periodic table. Your exam is on Friday. I've said that already like 7 times, but your exam is on Friday. There's naming, there's everything we've covered is on there, and there's stuff on there that we haven't even covered, because you are responsible for everything in your study goals. So I will say that I'm starting to look at all the videos. Number one, if you haven't done your ProctorU, I've already sent you a warning. So pay the late fee if you want to pay the late fee, I don't care. But you got to set up your ProctorU. And if you're doing RLB, I already sent, and you haven't done the fake test, I already sent you a super mean, screaming email. So you need to get that done by today or tomorrow, I think I gave you, because I need to see the video. And for those of you that did do the video, I'm going through all of those today. Maybe you've gotten an email from me. Basically, if you took that fake test and you didn't follow the instructions, you're gonna get an email from me, because that's the whole point. The point was to look at the instructions and follow the instructions exactly how I've written them, so that I can make sure you understand, right? It's my disclaimer to myself that you understand what you're supposed to do, because if not, you're gonna get a 0 for the exam if you don't do that correctly. So I'm going through all of the email, all of the videos that you guys did, and I'm sending you something. But if you know you didn't, like, for example, there's somebody that didn't even scan, they didn't even show me their phone turning off. Like, what the hell was the point of you doing that fake test if you're not gonna follow the instructions? That was the whole point. So you're gonna get an email from me, and that'll happen today. I'll finish those today, hopefully. But do you have any questions or anything? If not, we will see each other. And Malachi, I need to talk to you. Yes.
What's the password for RBL? Or because when I tried to take it,
there's no password.
When I tried to take it, it asked me for a password.
Because you're not using RLB. You're not using Respondus Lockdown Browser. You have to follow the instructions on the syllabus. You have to download Respondus Lockdown Browser and then open Respondus, like open up the software and then go to the test. Because it won't allow you to go to the test if you don't do it with the Respondus Lockdown Browser. That's why it's asking you for a password. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, I will stop sharing. Thank you guys. I will see you on Wednesday. Please study. Malachi, stay.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
You too. Bye.
Miss Torrin, Dr. Torrin, I have a question.
Yes, what's up?
So I know that I I took a picture and sent it to you that I finished the exam, but I still got a email about it. So you just sent it to everybody or just people who didn't do it correctly?
Wait, what are you talking about? You send me a screenshot? What are you talking about? What are you
I
talking
have
about?
you when I finished the practice exam for the RLB, I had a while back. I had took a picture of it with my phone and sent it through my phone, and I still got the email today. So would you just send it to everybody or just people that needed to see it?
So I think I was actually on yours right before class. So I don't think I've sent you. Yeah, no, I saw yours and you need some work.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've got, I just, obviously I got busy, but you're the next one on the list. So I can't remember, but I think I don't know. Anyway, I'll tell you in the email. All right. Okay, Jayla, I'll see you later. Bye. Malachi.
Yes.
Can you please put your camera on? I would like to see what you look like because you never have your camera on. Hello. Oh, look,
Hello.
you're not in the thing anymore. Okay. So I want to ask you and let me stop recording.